Hello everybody, welcome back to Heart Warriors Tarot. My name's Deanna and this is going to be your daily energy reading for Thursday, October the 17th. The moon is in Aries as it hits its peak. It will be a full moon just before 12:30 in the afternoon if you're in the United Kingdom. If you're around New York area, that'll be just before 7:30 in the morning. If you're in LA, that'll be just before 4:30 in the morning. If you're in Australia, it's just before 10:30 at night. The moon in Aries is always quite nice, I think. It brings quite an emotional aspect into our lives if we're susceptible to it, if we align with it. Aries is very much the child of the zodiac. So full moons in Aries tend to bring up sometimes feelings that you might feel if you're a toddler, if you're a young child, a more uncontrolled reaction sometimes to the things happening around you. Remember, young kids feel things in a very large capacity and they're very sensitive to things, sometimes in a slightly irrational way. And I do often find sometimes that the full moon in Aries can bring that quality up in people as well, especially if they are feeling vulnerable, susceptible, or just have very heightened sensitivity at that time. I've got the Tarot of the Abyss here. So we're going to use this deck for the reading today. If you're new to my channel, welcome. These daily readings are for everybody. It doesn't matter what star sign you are. It's about how you align with words that I'm using, with the tarot cards that come up, whether it resonates with anything else happening in your life at this time. I do believe that messages find you when they are meant to. If you like to work to a structure, you can use the dates on these readings to help guide you. If you prefer using tarot in a more free-flowing way, then consider these readings timeless and relevant for you when you happen across them. I'm going to chime my singing bowl. Use this moment to just take a deep breath in, focus in on the sound, and have a think about which areas of your life you'd like help and guidance with. I'd like to thank Great Spirit and our angels and guides for being with us here today and guiding this reading for the highest good of all. Okay, let's see what the universe would like us to know today. What messages is the universe bringing to us? I think that's landed reversed. I saw it flip over, so that'll be quite interesting. Let's see. And I feel like I'm going to take this one and then this one. I'm going to shuffle a little bit more for the card for the overarching theme. Let's have a look. This one, that's the card for the overarching theme coming into play today. So the big energies that are taking place, we have the Temperance card, which is really beautiful. This is one of my favourite major arcana. When this card comes up, I do feel that destiny or fate have a little bit of a hand in the things that are taking place in our lives today or at this moment in time. Time is a key word with Temperance. It suggests that time is out of your hands. Things will happen at their own time, and therefore this card does ask us to foster some patience within ourselves, with the people around us, with anything that is happening in our lives today. When this card comes up, it does suggest that if you're waiting on something, it may be a little bit longer before you see the results of that or before you get the information that you're looking for. However, there is a beautiful flow to this particular energy here if you're able to take things in your stride, if you're able just to release that deep breath, release any tension you're holding and go with the flow of life. So I think this is a really nice card. It's also one of the cards that tell me when our angels are present with us in the traditional tarot deck. This is one of the few major arcana cards that is actually depicted by an angel. You have an angel overhead in the background of the card, and I think that's very significant. For me, that does suggest that we are actually being guided at this time if we're willing to have a little bit of patience and just listen to what's going on around us. So let's have a look at the detail cards here and see what else is going on. We have the Eight of Cups. I love the illustration in this card. This is so beautifully drawn for me, and there's so much power here in this woman who has had enough of whatever this situation is in the background, and she's walking away. She is ready to spill the contents of her cup here because it no longer serves her. Once it did, a long time ago, it was exactly what she was looking for, and she has built her life around that. But times change, people change, she changes, and she is now at this point realizing that everything she had built, it's wonderful, but it's no longer serving her. It's no longer what she's looking for in the present and the future. So she is now ready to walk away from it all, to leave it all behind and go towards something brand new. This card often does have a sense of grieving with it, because often we do grieve the things that we leave behind. We grieve all the work and effort and love, the blood, tears and sweat that we have put into what we have built. And when the realization comes to us that it's no longer who we are, it can bring about quite a grieving process that we need to go through before we're able to properly walk away. So that is what this card suggests, and it may be that you're going through that phase at the moment. And then we have the Justice card. This can represent legal issues between you and any other party. This card can also symbolize karma and karmic things taking place. And since we have the Temperance card here, the Lord of Time, for me that would suggest that maybe there is a karmic element to what's going on here at the moment in your life, something to do with soul contracts, something to do with an agreement that you made before you were born here to go through this phase that you're going through now, which involves perhaps a lot of grief and walking away from somebody and perhaps breaking contracts with people. It could be soul contracts, it could be soulmate contracts that you perhaps hadn't particularly thought that you would break, but now's the time, and this is quite a process that you're going through. Let's see what this last card is. The Five of Cups. That doesn't really surprise me. This is the card of disappointment, and again it sort of emphasizes the grief of the Eight of Cups and needing to walk away. There is still a sense within this situation that what you are walking away from, if this is you, it could be somebody else in your life, but I'm just going to use the word you as a general indicator for who I'm talking about here, okay? You walking away from this is still causing a lot of grief. You're still very disappointed in yourself, disappointed in the way things have turned out. I'm really noticing the Two Cups here. Now, I don't always notice that with the Temperance card, but I'm seeing it here. And for some of you, I feel that this is about a relationship. You've got Two Cups still standing here as well. And this lady's deciding that the contents of her own cup she doesn't want anymore. This does have the feel to me of perhaps a relationship breakup or a soulmate breakup. The breaking of a contract that involves a really significant relationship in some way or another. There is the coming down of that. With the Justice card here, for some of us in the material world, this may also manifest as going through the court system in order to get a divorce or in order to sort out legal matters around separation or that kind of thing. The takeaway here is that however difficult this is, with the Temperance card here and the Karmic Justice card here, this is sort of meant to be, in inverted commas, okay? This is a process that you are supposed to go through, that if you do believe in soul contracts and so on, that you agreed to go through before you came here. To me, that actually seems pretty obvious. And the difficult part is the grief. It's the grief and the disappointment. It's really important to know that you haven't done anything wrong, okay? You don't need to be so hard on yourself for making the decision that you feel you need to make. Equally, it could also be that the other party in this situation is also finding it very difficult to let go with the Eight of Cups. Remember that I thought this card was reversed when it first came out. It turns out it's not, but that's just come to me. And when this card is reversed, it does suggest an inability to let go, holding on to the past, not being able to move forward into something that is more suitable for you now. So I'm getting the sense here that the other party, whoever they are probably having a little bit of difficulty letting go, and they may be making you feel quite suffocated by the way they are trying to control everything, trying to hold on to everything, trying to keep everything the way that it was, and so on and so on. Have patience, okay? The things will get ironed out in their own time. It may involve the legal system, or it may involve, that kind of contractual paperwork, even if you're not going through the courts. And it's a pain. It's disappointing for you. It's all kinds of things you don't need or want right now, but it will ease over time. Let's put down one final card. This last card is going to give us any advice or guidance that our angels and guides might want us to have for this particular situation. The King of Cups. The first thing I always think with the King of Cups is actually what a beautiful energy it is. This is a beautiful card. It's one of the more hopeful of the court cards. And the King of Cups is, in the tarot, a man or a male energy who feels so much very strongly. He is usually a water sign, and he really does hold on to his emotions and sometimes swims in those emotions and sometimes finds it hard to come out of them. When he is in a place where he is feeling hurt, then that can come about as controlling and manipulative. It can be very moody, like mood swings and stuff like that. However, in his more enlightened phase, he becomes full of acceptance and forgiveness, and he learns how to heal from within and move on. When this card comes up, it can suggest that some kind of counselling or healing therapy, like marriage counselling or mediation or anything along those lines, may be beneficial in this situation. Even if you don't want to do it, it may actually be beneficial. There's something about this card that talks about the need to heal and the need to talk things through, the need for therapy, the need for nursing ourselves through this procedure. Whether it's you or the other person, it doesn't matter. The guidance is there to do it for the whole situation. So the advice that this card is bringing is to consider some kind of therapy that is like mediation or counselling that can help to iron out any resentment that may be going on under the surface. And you may even find that if you do that on some level or another, maybe not straight away, but on some level or another, it does eventually speed up the process of the entire thing, because there will be a certain kind of peace found underneath, even if no one's prepared to admit it on the top, if you see what I mean. Okay. So yeah, I mean, whoever's relating to this, I feel for you. It looks like a difficult situation. This reading could be for you. It could also be for somebody that you know in your life who's bringing this situation to you. Either they need to talk to you about it, or they want your advice about it, or whatever, but it kind of enters your life in some way or another. So I trust that this reading will help you with whatever insights you might need to this situation, any advice for yourself or that you may be able to give to other people as well. I'm going to wrap that reading up here. I will lay down more cards in the extended reading to see if there's any more information that wants to come through about this reading, and the rune stones that I turn out do tend to close up the reading really nicely as well. That's over on my Patreon page. The link for that is in the description below or in the bio. If I don't see you over there, I shall see you tomorrow for tomorrow's reading. Thanks so much for watching. Bye bye.